Plus, on the news, U.S. and some other Western embassies in Kyiv stay closed for security reasons, with the American delegation saying it received warnings of potentially significant Russian airstrike on Kyiv. Details of these are not coming your way soon. To stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, details of the news. The Nigerian Senate on Wednesday sacked Danladi Umar as the chairman of Code of Conduct Tribunal (CCT). The lawmakers, after a closed-door session, reconvened and invoked Section 157, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended to officially remove Umar as the CCT boss, citing allegations of misconduct. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that the Senate held that it had become imperative to remove because his actions were unbecoming and his level of gross misconduct no longer acceptable. Umar's removal will now pave way for the official resumption of Abdullahi Bello as the new substantive chairman of the tribunal. 84 senators had signed in favor of his removal following deliberations on a motion by leader of the Senate, Opeyemi Bamidele.
Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the Senate resolves to invoke and activate the constitutional provision as enshrined in Section 157, subsection 1, by forwarding an address supported by two-thirds majority of the Senate, which shall be acted upon by Mr. President for the official removal from office of Mr. Yakubu Danladi Umar as the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal.
The motion was adopted by the Upper Legislative Chamber after it was put to a vote by Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Umar was chairman of the tribunal when Tinubu was charged with operating foreign bank accounts contrary to the Constitution. He was glad of the charges.
And I've noted here that we have the quorum to invoke Section 157, subsection 1, removing the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal from office for misconduct and for acts unbecoming of the holder of such an office. I've also noted from your contributions that ample opportunities were given to him to defend himself, and he appeared, and in his opinion, he did not need to continue any defense of himself.
And still with the red chambers, the Nigerian Senate has commended the military for their prompt response to attacks carried out by the Karawa terrorists in some communities in Kebbi State and part of the Northwest, urging the military to collaborate with local communities to establish early warning system to detect future incursions. The Red Legislative Chamber equally urged them to maintain vigilance in the affected areas to stop the problem from escalating into other parts of the country. These resolutions were reached on Wednesday in plenary after a debate on a motion sponsored on the floor by Senator representing Kebbi North, Abdullahi Yahya.
On urgent need for the federal government to take stringent measures to stop the infiltration of a group of violent terrorists known as Lakurawa from entrenching themselves in some northwestern parts of Sokoto and Kebbi states. Senate is aware that a group of terrorists from neighboring Burkina Faso and Mali known as Lakurawa has infiltrated the country through the Nigeria-Niger border at Ilela, Tangaza, Silami local government areas of Sokoto state and are there.
Senators warned that failure to act decisively could allow the Lakurawa group to expand its operations, spreading terror to other parts of the northern Nigeria and potentially threatening national stability. After contributions by lawmakers on the matter, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, stressed the need for citizens to continually collaborate with security agencies to nip terrorist activities in the bud.
If you recall that banditry started in Zamfara State, and about 9 years ago, nobody thought that it would spread to neighboring states. But we didn't take immediate measures to arrest the situation, and gradually it spread to neighboring states of Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna, and even beyond, even Niger State. So this Lakurawa movement is a terrorist movement. They came from Mali. They control the whole of northern Mali.
Mr. President, I support all the prayers of this motion. We need to nip this in the bud. It is too serious for us to allow to take it lightly, because these people are well armed with sophisticated weapons, and I believe they even have some international connections.
For bringing this motion, and this is the way it starts. And if it is not nipped in the bud, it will spread terror across many parts of this country. So I also want to use this opportunity, because from the body of your motion, you pointed out that the Nigerian military moved swiftly and they were able to dislodge them from the communities that they killed people and occupied. And so where we commend the military, we want the military to continue to maintain their presence in those regions in order to forestall a further incursion into the country of this terrorist group.
Now to the Green Chambers. The House of Representatives has directed the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and the Federal Ministry of Finance to immediately refund the 50% deduction made from the Nigerian Shippers Council NSC account. The resolution followed a motion of urgent public importance raised by Honorable Hamad Mohammed, who noted that the Federal Ministry of Finance had deducted 50% of the Council's account balance in December 2023 onto the 2021 Finance Act. Under the 2021 Finance Act, he said while similar deductions from other agencies have been refunded, the Nigerian Shippers Council is yet to receive its reimbursement. Honorable Mohammed expressed concern that the non-release and delay in refunding the funds have caused significant operational challenges for the Council, including difficulties in paying staff salaries and retirees' entitlement.
Aware that the Federal Ministry of Finance deducted 50% of Council's account balance in December 2023 under the provisions of the 2021 Finance Act, while similar deductions from other agencies have been refunded, the Nigeria Shippers Council has not received its refund. Concerned that the Federal Ministry of Finance has been slow and inconsistent in releasing the 2% portion of the 7% port development levies surcharge allocated to the Council, resulting in delayed and insufficient funding.
In a related development, the House also urged the Federal Ministry of Power to declare electricity distribution companies, DISCOs, as non-state actors and take immediate steps to address the alleged reckless actions which pose a threat to the nation's economy. The lawmakers further recommended the recapitalization of DISCOs, requiring a minimum of 500 billion naira in financial capacity, adding the totally operators with the financial strength to provide satisfactory services to consumers should be allowed to continue operations. Honorable Isiaka expressed worry over the sabotage of economic growth caused by DISCOs, where essential services are manipulated against citizens rather than serving them.
Also notes that Nigerian consumers paid for electricity meters and installations, but DISCOs now demanding additional payments for replacement of the same meters under dubious pretenses, undermining consumer trust and exacerbating financial...
Order, please.
And still with the Grain Chambers, the House of Representatives Joint Committees on Agricultural Production and Services, Privatization and Commercialization, Public Asset, Science, Engineering and Special Duties have held a one-day public hearing on genetically modified organisms, GMOs. During the hearing, Chairman of the committee, Bello Kaoje, urged stakeholders to remain objective and prioritize the well-being of Nigerians in their contributions. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, also presented a submission on the matter.
Investigate the privatization concessioning of the 22 out of 33 government silos for grain storage and other critical national assets in Nigeria. This mandate came on the 7/02/2024. And this particular committee that I mentioned was mandated to do the investigative hearing and find out the circumstances surrounding the whole things and report back to the House. And that's where we are here today.
The ministry is fully aware of the concerns raised by the public on most of the seeds that were developed, and therefore the need to interrogate the process and intensify awareness on these innovations. In reference to happenings around the globe about GMOs, there have been several rejections of the health-impairing crop varieties and food commodities that some landmark judgments in favor of concerned citizens of most nations were the sites raised.
Following the hearing, civil society organizations, CSOs, called on the House of Representatives to prohibit the use and consumptions of GMOs in Nigeria to safeguard public health and the environment. The groups attributed rising cases of cancer and other illnesses to GMO consumption and expressed concerns over its effects on biodiversity. They highlighted that over 80% of GMOs are engineered to tolerate herbicides, posing risks to the ecosystems.
That this is a battle that must be fought and won, because the overall long-term effects of consumption of GMO foods and the pattern of consumption, and whether you are going to create seeds from the food, whether you are going to transform the GMOs into LMOs, is a difficult concept to even convey to all of you here.
Basically acting as the public relations expert of foreign interests that are trying to plant or pursue this GMO in our country. That all of us witness regulators acting as business consultants, right? Being more carried away by their decision to approve GMOs in our country than to prevent the impact of GMOs on Nigerians.
Have successful, and I'm saying this boldly to the media and to Nigerians, because I'm a researcher. External interests that are interested in marketing dumping GMOs, which are agents of mass destruction. These are biological weapons. I'm a professor of bioinorganic chemistry. They are pushing insecurity on our nation, sponsoring it clandestinely. And I challenge the national security apparatus.
The federal government has announced the dissolution of the governing councils of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Anambra State, following the grave breaches of the law governing the university and disregard for lawful directives from the Federal Ministry of Education. The decision comes after it was discovered that the chairman of the governing councils unilaterally appointed the vice-chancellor who failed to meet up with the minimum eligibility criteria for the position. This led to the breakdown of law and order in the institution, causing tension and disharmony. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, in a statement issued by Director of Information of the Ministry, Folashade Boriowo, emphasized that urgent measures were needed to avoid further deterioration of the situation at Nnamdi Azikiwe University, as the legal decision taken by the Governing Council posed a significant risk of further destabilizing the university. The minister announced the dissolution of the council, led by Ambassador Greg Gozumba Mbadiwe, who is the Pro-Chancellor, and other members, while the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Berat Odor, has also been removed with immediate effect. In another development, the Minister of Education, Professor Tunji Alausa, has announced the reassigning of the PRO Chancellors and Chairman of the Governing Council of the Federal University of Oyo-Ekiti and Lokoja. These, according to the minister, is to enhance cohesion and improve governance of these institutions. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. When we come back, the news continues. Many thanks for staying with us. Now for more update and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with thoughts on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with thoughts on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page as Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate you live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. The Inspector General of Police and the Nigerian Police Service Commission have been ordered to pay police constabularies about 4 years' salaries arrears being owed them since 2021. The National Industrial Court of Nigeria, which issued the order, directed that each of the constabularies be paid 54,566 naira per month from January 2021 to May 2024. Correspondent Kunlojo reports that Justice Rukiya Astrap gave the order on Wednesday while delivering judgment in a suit instituted by the constabularies against the IGP and PSC. The plaintiffs, who were trained and engaged in community policing through intelligence gathering through their lawyer Sebastian Honorable-San, had sued the police for refusing to pay them their monthly stipends despite making them serve the nation diligently for the past 4 years. The constabulary alleged that the action of police in denying them the stipends was not only unlawful but had put their lives in jeopardy, as they could no longer meet with basic needs of life. They therefore urged the court that, having been lawfully engaged by police, they are entitled to the monthly stipend to enable them to perform their duties effectively and diligently. Besides, they claim that due to the hazardous nature of the jobs, 7 of their members have already died. In her judgment, Justice Rukiya Astrap agreed with Sebastian On-San that the plaintiff have established the jury's contractual agreement of employment relationship between them and police. The judge held that based on the agreement, the plaintiff are entitled to the monthly stipends for their job. Responding to the judgment, counsel to the constabulary Sebastian On-San appealed to President Bola Tinubu to order the IGP to pay the constabularies owing to the service they are rendering to the country.
Fundamental and employment rights of these officers. They were employed, trained and retained, and they are still serving the Nigerian police force as police constabularies. And the authorities have refused to pay their salaries. Funnily enough, they claim that they are rendering voluntary services. When the police asks has provisions for them.
The Inspector General of Police has filed criminal charges against Anambra State former governorship candidate Senator Andy Uba for allegedly defrauding an applicant for the post of Managing Director of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) to the tune of 400 million naira. Senator Andy Uba is to be arraigned at the Federal High Court in Abuja, along with Crystal Chidinma Uba, Benjamin Elu, and one Ajia Fatima, for allegedly swindling one Dr. George Ubo of 400 million naira on the false pretense of securing the appointment of Managing Director of NDDC for him. In the charge, the Inspector General of Police alleged that the former governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress (APC) conspired with other defendants and allegedly made a false claim that he had perfected way to an appointment of the NDDC MD to uninterested persons who can afford the huge sum. In the process, Dr. George Ubo was said to have fallen victim of the alleged false claim by transferring 400 million naira into tranches into the bank accounts supplied by Senator Andy Uba. The Inspector General of Police listed 8 witnesses, comprising George Ubo as the complainant and investigative police operatives, and 4 Bohodo Shonj operators to testify against the senator and his co-defendants. Meanwhile, Justice Inyang Edeneko had fixed the arraignment for February 18, 2025. The adjournment followed a complaint by Emma Anthony, who appeared for the IGP and complained that the defendant had been evading the service of the court document despite being given administrative bail. Anthony told the court that they had been in the matter since 2023. Justice Eko adjourned the matter to allow the defendants take their plea. Now, we move to the international desk for the news.
Hello and welcome to the foreign news. The U.S. and some other Western embassies in Kyiv said that they would stay closed for security reasons, with the American delegation saying it had received a warning of a potentially significant Russian air attack on the Ukrainian capital. The precautionary step came after Russian officials promised a response to President Joe Biden's decision to let Ukraine strike targets on Russian soil with US-made missiles, a move that angered the Kremlin. The U.S. Embassy said its closure and attack warning were issued in the context of ongoing Russian missile and drone attacks on Kyiv and anticipated a quick return to regular operations. The Italian and Greek embassies also shut to the public for the day, but the UK government said that its embassy remained open. The war, which reached its 1,000-day milestone on Tuesday, has taken on a growing international dimension with the arrival of North Korean troops to help Russia on the battlefield, a development which U.S. officials said prompted Biden's policy shift. Russian President Vladimir Putin subsequently lowered the threshold for using his nuclear arsenal, with a new doctrine announced permitting a potential nuclear response by Moscow, even to a conventional attack on Russia by any nation that is supported by a nuclear power.
And that's it for now, but do join us at 9 p.m. for our prime time news. My name is Ariba Mr. Lako. See you at 9.